The honor of women in Islam. Over 1400 years ago, Islam gave women rights that women in the West have only recently begun to enjoy. In the 1930s, women's rights activist Annie Besant observed, "It is only in the last 20 years that Christian England has recognized the right of woman to property, while Islam has allowed this right from all times." Islam is very clear on protecting and honoring women as mothers, sisters, daughters, and wives. Mothers. Speak gently and kindly with your mothers. And your Lord has decreed that you not worship except Him, and to parents, good treatment. Whether one or both of them reach old age with you, say not to them, "Uff," and do not repel them, but speak to them a noble word. And lower to them the wing of humility out of mercy, and say, "My Lord, have mercy upon them as they brought me up small." Your Lord is most knowing of what is within yourselves. If you should be righteous, then indeed He is ever, to the often returning, forgiving. And we have enjoined upon man, to his parents, good treatment. His mother carried him with hardship and gave birth to him with hardship, and his gestation and weaning is 30 months. Until, when he reaches maturity and reaches 40 years, he says, "My Lord, enable me to be grateful for your favor which you have bestowed upon me and upon my parents, and to work righteousness of which you will approve, and make righteous for me my offspring. Indeed, I have repented to you, and indeed, I am of the Muslims." Your mother and then your father. Abu Hurairah said, "A man came to the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, and said, 'O Messenger of Allah, who is most deserving of my good company?' He said, 'Your mother.' He said, 'Then who?' He said, 'Your mother.' He said, 'Then who?' He said, 'Your mother.' He said, 'Then who?' He said, 'Then your father.'" Righteous deeds. Ibn Omar narrated that the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "3 men went out walking, and rain began to fall on them. They entered a cave in a mountain, then a rock fell. They said to one another, 'Pray to Allah by virtue of the best deeds that you have done.' One of them said, 'O Allah, my parents were elderly, and I used to go out and tend to my flocks. Then I would milk them and bring the milk to my parents for them to drink from it. Then I would give some to my children. One night I came home late and found them sleeping. I did not want to wake them, and the children were crying at my feet. I kept waiting, and the children kept crying until dawn broke. O Allah, if you knew that I did that for your sake, then open a way for us through which we can see the sky." So a way was opened for them. Paradise under the feet of mothers. Mu'awiyah ibn Jahimah reported, Jahimah came to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and he said, "O Messenger of Allah, I intend to join the expedition and I seek your counsel." The Prophet said, "Do you have a mother?" He said, "Yes." The Prophet said, "Stay with her, for paradise is beneath her feet." Wives. The Quran honors women in the same way it honors men. Indeed, the Muslim men and Muslim women, the believing men and believing women, the obedient men and obedient women, the truthful men and truthful women, the patient men and patient women, the humble men and humble women, the charitable men and charitable women, the fasting men and fasting women, the men who guard their private parts and the women who do so, and the men who remember Allah often and the women who do so, for them Allah has prepared forgiveness and a great reward. Allah has promised the believing men and believing women gardens beneath which rivers flow, wherein they abide eternally, and pleasant dwellings and gardens of perpetual residence, but approval from Allah is greater. It is that which is the great attainment. the most honored in the sight of Allah. O mankind, indeed we have created you from male and female and made you peoples and tribes that you may know one another. Indeed, the most noble of you in the sight of Allah is the most righteous of you. Indeed, Allah is knowing and acquainted. Treat women kindly. Abu Hurairah reported, the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, said, I enjoin you to treat women well, for the woman was created from a rib and the most curved part of the rib is its highest point. If you try to straighten it, you will break it. If you leave it as it is, it will remain bent. Thus, I enjoin you to be good to women. Best men are best in character to women. Abu Hurairah reported, the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, said, the most complete of believers in faith are those with the best character, and the best of you are the best in behavior to their women. Put a morsel of food in one's wife's mouth. Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas reported, the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, said, I am amazed by the believer. If he is granted goodness, he praises Allah and is grateful. If he is afflicted with a calamity, he praises Allah and is patient. The believer is rewarded for every matter, even lifting a morsel of food to his wife's mouth. The 4 best women of paradise. Ibn Abbas reported, the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, said, the best of women among the people of paradise are Khadija bint Khalid, Fatima bint Muhammad, Maryam bint Imran, and Asiyah bint Mazahim, the wife of Pharaoh. Khadija was a widow and a wealthy businesswoman. At the age of 40, Khadija married Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, when he was at 25 of age. Fatima was the daughter of Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him, and his wife Khadija. She will be the leader of the women in paradise. Mary, the mother of Jesus, holds a very special position in Islam. Allah proclaims her to be the best woman amongst all humanity. The Quran honors Mary with an entire chapter named after her. Asiyah was a queen and the wife of one of the most powerful men to walk the earth. She refused to submit to the tyranny of her husband, but chose instead to devote her soul and her life to Allah. When Pharaoh found out about her true beliefs, he tortured her severely before her death. The blessings of daughters in Islam. The Prophet's love and respect for his daughter, Aisha reported, I have not seen anyone more closely resemble the disposition, mannerism, and characteristics of the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, than his daughter Fatima. May Allah honor her countenance. If she entered his home, the Prophet would stand for her, take her by the hand, kiss her, and seat her in his place. If the Prophet entered her home, she would stand for him, take him by the hand, kiss him, and seat him in her place. Daughters are precious companions. Uqba ibn Amir reported, the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, said, do not hate your daughters, for they are your precious companions. Being just with daughters. Ibn Abbas reported, the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, said, whoever has a daughter and he does not bury her alive, nor humiliate her, nor prefer his sons over her, he will enter paradise due to her. Daughters are your shields from hellfire. Uqba ibn Amr reported, the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, said, whoever has 3 daughters and he is patient with them, he gives them food and drink, and he clothes them, then they will be a shield from the hellfire on the day of resurrection. Abu Sa'id al-Khudri reported, "The Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, said, there is not one of you with 3 daughters or 3 sisters, or 2 daughters or 2 sisters, fearing Allah regarding them and treating them in the best manner, but that he will enter paradise." Jabir ibn Abdullah reported, "The Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, said, whoever has 3 daughters and he cares for them, he is merciful to them, and he clothes them, then paradise is certainly required for him." It was said, "O Messenger of Allah, what if he has only 2? The Prophet said, "Even 2. Some people thought that if they had said to him 1, the Prophet would have said even 1. Annie Besant had utmost respect and admiration for Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. It is impossible for anyone who studies the life and character of the great Prophet of Arabia, who knows how he taught and how he lived, to feel anything but reverence for that mighty Prophet, one of the great messengers of the Supreme. And although in what I put to you I shall say many things which may be familiar to many, yet I myself feel whenever I reread them a new way of admiration, a new sense of reverence for that mighty Arabian teacher,